It's great, but I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead.
We're not ready for you to be dead, Chadwick.
But I am. I'm dead.
There's a saying, when the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong.
I know you have also inspired and motivated others. An offering from a sage and a king is more than silver and gold.
Hollywood has been hiding the truth about Chadwick Boseman's tragic death, and now Denzel Washington is dropping a bombshell that could change everything we thought we knew.
He did all he could do with what he was given, and he left it here for us to enjoy. Chad will live forever.
For years, the official story has painted a picture of a private battle with cancer, but insiders are suggesting there's more to the story.
I'm not done now. The devil goes, oh no, leave him alone. Hey, he's my favorite.
Denzel's shocking revelation has fans and critics alike questioning if Hollywood lied to protect its image. What's really going on behind the scenes? Let's find out. Ever wondered, could there be more to Chadwick Boseman's untimely death than what we've been led to believe? While the world united in mourning the beloved Black Panther star, whispers from Hollywood's shadowy corners suggest a story far more sinister than the official narrative.
He did all he could do with what he was given, and he left it here. There's a saying, when the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong.
What if Boseman's death wasn't just a tragic loss, but a piece of a much larger puzzle, one that the powers that be in Tinseltown might be desperate to keep under wraps? Adding fuel to the fire is Denzel Washington, a Hollywood legend who was not only a mentor to Boseman, but also played a pivotal role in his rise to fame.
I'm not done now. The devil goes, oh no, leave him alone. Hey, he's my favorite.
Washington has long been vocal about the dark side of the industry, speaking out against the immense pressure it places on artists and how it chews them up and spits them out. Could Denzel have known something about the forces working against Boseman?
See, people, first of all, they say in Hollywood, like that's a place. We're in the movie business, and we live in Los Angeles. But I'm not in Hollywood.
He's hinted before at how Hollywood can turn against those who refuse to play by its rules, sometimes going so far as to eliminate them altogether. So was Chadwick Boseman's growing influence and the powerful roles he was taking on a threat to the Hollywood elite?
There's a saying, when the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong. Wait a minute, I'm not done now. The devil goes, oh no, leave him alone.
And did his close relationship with Denzel Washington give him insight into the industry's darker machinations? As more details emerge, the truth behind Chadwick Boseman's death might expose a chilling agenda within Hollywood, a machine that, when threatened, won't hesitate to silence even its brightest stars. It turns out that Chadwick Boseman and Denzel Washington were totally destined to cross paths on their paths to success. Chadwick didn't hold back in giving Denzel a huge shout out, saying how much Denzel's support shaped his career and life. It was a really cool way of showing his gratitude.
Imagine receiving a letter that your tuition for that summer was paid for and that your benefactor was none other than the dopest actor on the planet.
Chadwick Boseman was a huge icon, not just for the Black community, but for everyone. He had a special bond with a lot of people in Hollywood, but one of his closest relationships was with veteran actor Denzel Washington. Chadwick always spoke highly of Denzel, calling him the dopest actor on the planet, and even looked up to him like a father figure in the industry. When Chadwick's heartfelt speeches about Denzel started popping up on social media, people were really moved by how much he respected him. But here's the kicker. Denzel wasn't just sitting back and soaking up all that love. He had his own emotional moment when he saw just how much Chadwick admired him. This back and forth between them got fans talking, with some thinking it was super heartwarming, while others felt Denzel's reaction was a little late. But the truth is, Chadwick's public persona was just the tip of the iceberg. There was a lot going on behind the scenes in Hollywood that we didn't see.
And I've basically been holding this secret my whole career. When I came back, I got a beneficiary letter, and it said, Denzel Washington paid for you.
Chadwick Boseman's rise to fame was nothing short of incredible. Who doesn't know him from his iconic roles in Marvel's Avengers and Black Panther? But here's the twist. His big break actually came later than most people realize. A lot of folks think that his success in Marvel just happened smoothly. But the truth is, he faced his fair share of struggles along the way. Boseman himself always gave credit to Denzel Washington for helping him get there. Even though Denzel was already a major star, he wasn't the type to keep all his success to himself. He was all about helping other rising talents in Hollywood. We don't hear much about Denzel's generosity because he prefers to stay out of the spotlight, but Chadwick made sure to share just how kind Denzel had been to him. At the 2019 AFI Lifetime Achievement Award event, Boseman gave a touching tribute to Denzel, revealing that he had secretly paid for Boseman's summer acting program tuition while he was at Howard University. He shared, "A lot of you know that Mr. Washington, when Felicia Rashad asked him to help 9 theater students from Howard University get into a summer program at the British Academy of Dramatic Acting in Oxford, agreed quietly and generously. I was one of those students. Just imagine getting a letter saying your tuition was covered by none other than the dopest actor on the planet." The video of Boseman giving an emotional commencement speech at his alma mater has since gone viral, and it really hits hard, especially after his passing.
Offering from a sage and a king is more than silver and gold. It is a seed of hope, a bud of faith. There is no Black Panther without Denzel Washington.
The actor's speech has resonated deeply with people, and many have openly discussed its impact. One person wrote, "I bet Denzel knew of Chadwick's illness at the time when many people didn't. He understood the gravity of that speech than most people in that room." Another one added, "When he said there is no Black Panther without Denzel Washington, man, that hit so hard. Two great phenomenal actors, R.I.P. Chadwick, and God bless Denzel Washington." Alongside forging his own path and helping others, Boseman was determined to leave a lasting legacy. A big part of his legacy is his frequent hospital visits, where he brought joy to kids, especially as his superhero persona. What many didn't know at the time was that while he was making these kids smile, he was dealing with serious personal challenges behind the scenes.
And I came in and he hugged me. It's like literally, I think it's the best response I've ever gotten as far as the character goes. So, thank you.
When Matt Maggard, the father of Hayden Maggard, a boy Boseman had visited in the hospital, learned on August 28, 2020, that Boseman had been battling cancer during those visits, he was deeply moved. Matt said, "Nobody truly understands unless they've been through it. Seeing these kids at St. Jude is already heart-wrenching for a healthy person, but for someone who's been diagnosed and undergoing treatment for 2 years to face that, that's just incredible." Boseman became very selective about the roles he took on, choosing characters that he was proud to portray and that had meaningful social impact. He aimed for roles that highlighted men who made a difference. This thoughtful approach took time to pay off, but it eventually led to his role as Jackie Robinson in 42, a part that truly showcased his dedication and talent.
We're around here assuming that the Black characters in the show are criminals on and deadbeat parents. Then that would probably be stereotypical.
Boseman's dedication to his roles was truly remarkable. He went above and beyond learning baseball to bring Jackie Robinson to life in 42, mastering dance for his portrayal of James Brown in Get On Up, and showing his versatility by playing Thurgood Marshall, the first African-American Supreme Court justice in Marshall. Then came his iconic role as T'Challa in Black Panther. Even as a superhero, Boseman fought to keep T'Challa authentic. One notable example was his push for using an African accent for the character. Despite Marvel's initial preference for an English or American accent, Boseman was adamant about using an African accent to genuinely reflect T'Challa's heritage and cultural background. "It felt to me like a deal breaker," he told The Hollywood Reporter. "I was like, no, this is such an important factor that if we lose this right now, what else are we going to throw away for the sake of making people feel comfortable?" Following its release, Black Panther swiftly became the highest-grossing superhero movie ever in the United States. Despite the immense demand for his talent, Boseman remained selective in his choice of projects, carefully considering the stories he wanted to tell through his roles. "You become more and more selective because you realize how much it takes out of you," Boseman told Hunger magazine in 2017. "Some days you come home and you realize there's this extra psychological energy that you've been using to stay in that place for an entire day. You feel the fatigue of carrying around this other way of thinking, this different body, this different life. It can be emotional, it can be physical, and sometimes there's a little bit of trauma with that. By the end of the process, you just want to get to the place where you're no longer carrying the weight of that person. So when you choose the roles, I think you're very selective about it because because you value your time on this earth. It's so valuable because you're spending 4 or 5 or 6 months with this character, if not longer. You make those choices very, very carefully. There were also theories floating around that Boseman passed away right after receiving his Oscar, sparking conversations about the so-called Oscar curse, which Denzel Washington has also mentioned. Just as Boseman worked to break down stereotypes about Black people through his roles, Denzel Washington had been battling those issues long before Boseman came onto the scene. It seems Boseman might have picked up some crucial lessons from Washington. Over the years, Washington has openly discussed the racial challenges he faced on his path to stardom, from being overlooked at major award shows because of his race to facing discrimination while filming in his own country and even enduring racial slurs.
I got a part in a movie in 1986. I called it They Couldn't Kill.
Hollywood's brightest stars gathered at the Oscars this year, each dreaming of snagging the coveted Academy Award. An Oscar win can elevate an actor to global fame overnight, opening doors to new opportunities. But alongside the glittering allure of the golden statuette, there's a shadowy legend that lingers, the infamous Oscars curse.
This is one of the happiest moments of my life, and I want to thank each one of you who had a part in selecting me for one of the awards. For your kindness, it has made me feel very, very humble.
It's quite surprising to see the list of actors who've fallen prey to the Oscars curse, including legends like Hattie McDaniel and Morgan Freeman. Interestingly, the Oscar doesn't always seem to bring good fortune to many Black actors. The Academy often favors heavy dramatic performances in what's known as Oscar bait projects, which can overshadow the talent found in comedic roles. Even in serious roles, Black actors often get typecast into limited portrayals, like slaves, individuals in feminine attire, or characters enduring oppression, restricting their opportunities and range.
Turn the heat up. Back there it's nice and warm, but over here, ooh, it's cold as hell and freezing. This is very nice.
Firstly, Eddie Murphy has received just one Oscar nomination, and it was for his role in Bill Condon's musical Dreamgirls. Murphy has admitted in interviews that he might not have put in as much effort for that role as he typically does in his comedic performances.
One of the greatest, funniest people of all time was George Carlin, and he received this award posthumously.
One performance that continues to get a lot of attention is Chadwick Boseman's role in The Nutty Professor. He used makeup and prosthetics to transform into the entire Clump family, demonstrating his incredible versatility. This technique wasn't entirely new to the industry. It was reminiscent of what was done in the Coming to America films, especially in that iconic barbershop scene.
Hey, I ain't saying Clay ain't bad. I'm just saying I stopped liking Cassius Clay once you changed the name to Muhammad Ali. What kind of shit is that?
The Oscars have faced serious criticism over their lack of diversity, and the drama surrounding it is pretty juicy. Remember back in 2019 when Kevin Hart had to step down as host because some old homophobic tweets resurfaced? That was a major scandal. Then there's the #Oscars So White campaign, which has been calling out the Academy for its dismal diversity record. Things have gotten so bad that some people are now calling Hollywood's Walk of Fame the Walk of Shame for its lack of stars that truly reflect the industry's diversity. While the Oscars might be glamorous, their diversity issues have definitely left a sour note.
Kevin Hart has stepped down from hosting this year's Oscars. He put out a statement on Twitter tonight saying, "I have made the choice to step down from..."
On a February afternoon in 1940s America, actress Hattie McDaniel made history by winning the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress for her role in Gone with the Wind. She became the first African American to win this prestigious award. However, her historic victory was overshadowed by the harsh reality of segregation. Despite her win, McDaniel had to attend the Oscar ceremony as a whites-only event, which meant she was kept separate from the other attendees. Instead of being a triumphant celebration, the event was tainted by the segregation that defined the era.
I sincerely hope I shall always be a credit to my race and to the motion picture industry. My heart is too full to tell you just how I feel.
80 years later, the film industry is still grappling with routine discrimination, despite some progress in diversity. The 2020 Oscars were a prime example, plagued by racial controversies that felt all too familiar. A notable snub was Lupita Nyong'o's exclusion from the nominations for her outstanding performance in the 2019 film Us. Such oversights underscore the ongoing issues in the industry, revealing that despite some advancements, many believe the Oscars still have a long way to go in genuinely embracing diversity.
And the Oscar goes to Lupita Nyong'o.
Eddie Murphy has pointed out a troubling issue in Hollywood, the secretive contracts that actors sign, which seem to contribute to the industry's discrimination. Murphy suggests that winning an Academy Award might be linked to these deals, hinting that it could lead some actors to become sellouts. This concern extends beyond Murphy. Many celebrities have shared cautionary tales about getting too chummy with the top brass in the entertainment world. Denzel Washington has also weighed in, though he hasn't named names, criticizing his colleagues for their inflated egos and misplaced self-importance. It's like a chorus of voices warning against the dangers of getting too close to the industry's power players.
Just like people say, oh, the difficulty of making a movie. I'm like, send your son to Iraq. That's difficult. It's just a movie. It's like, relax.
Denzel Washington has been outspoken about his frustration with the woke Hollywood elites, who often come across as self-righteous and superior. He's criticized these figures for using their platform to pat themselves on the back and dispense life advice while enjoying their luxurious lifestyles. Despite this critique, not all stars fit this mold. Denzel himself, despite being an Oscar winner, keeps things in perspective. He believes that making movies is relatively easy compared to more demanding jobs, like being a garbage collector or dealing with the harsh realities of war. Washington's comments reflect his view that true value lies in addressing more fundamental challenges rather than just basking in Hollywood's glamour.
I like being a garbage man better. But they weren't bad jobs. It's like people say, oh, the difficulty of making a movie. I'm like, send your son to Iraq. That's difficult.
Similar to Eddie Murphy and Denzel Washington's willingness to address the industry's issues, other celebrities have also spoken out about peculiar happenings in the entertainment world. One such individual is Cat Williams, who has taken a more direct approach to spotlighting industry problems. Recently, Williams made pointed comments about Jamie Foxx, suggesting that Foxx might have compromised his integrity for the sake of an award. But that's just part of what Williams had to say about the actor. After that, the comedian leveled further accusations against Foxx, suggesting that Foxx made significant sacrifices to secure an Oscar. Cat Williams appeared to believe that Foxx's path to success was marked by numerous challenging moments, which have led him to surmise that Foxx may have indeed sacrificed something significant along the way. Jamie Foxx is a multi-talented individual who began his career with humorous sketches and subsequently transitioned into acting, ultimately earning an Academy Award for his achievements. However, the situation may have been more complex than Cat Williams portrayed it. According to reports, Jamie Foxx didn't initially view his Oscar nomination with the seriousness it deserved. Like a typical newcomer in the industry, he thought there was no chance of winning against the seasoned nominees. As it turns out, the industry's decision makers may have had a plan in place from the very beginning.
What happened was that I didn't have a clique. I didn't have a crew in LA, and everybody had a clique. The Wayans had a crew. It was like 9,000 of them.
Seems like it was so hard for Jamie to get an Academy Award. When I was up for the Oscar, I didn't really think it was a big deal, Foxx explained. I thought there's no way I'm going to win that thing. I saw Oscar time as a reason to have fun. I was like, oh, I'm nominated? Let's celebrate with champagne and party. I remember having those photo-taking people following me for the first time. I went a bit crazy. At the Golden Globes, I had some champagne and I acted pretty silly on the red carpet. Looking back, I realized I wasn't respectful to the whole thing. Foxx talked about going to the show with a friend and being nominated for many awards that year. On the red carpet, he and his friend were shouting about how many awards they were up for that night in a way that seems immature, he said. His publicist called him and scolded him for his behavior, saying, "What are you doing? Can't you see how embarrassing this is? You have a chance, but you need to act a certain way." In hindsight, it appears that the nomination may have served as a way for the industry elites to prepare Jamie Foxx for what lay ahead. It seems Foxx had reached a pivotal juncture in his career, where he was on the cusp of being inducted into the upper echelons of the industry.
And then I get a call, and on the other end of the phone says, "Hi, Jamie Foxx." So who's this? This is Oprah.
Uh-oh.
The initial intervention to guide Jamie Foxx on the path expected by the industry's elites came from a renowned media mogul. This prominent television personality personally reached out to Fox, delivering a candid message that he was potentially blowing it. She told me, "You really have a great chance to do something that is wonderful, and the character you played touched so many people, but not if you act like this," Fox said.
You want to meet who you're supposed to meet here? I said, yeah. He's right there. And it was Sidney Poitier.
The influential media figure appeared to have a strategic plan in mind. She invited Jamie Foxx to a gathering at Quincy Jones's residence, where Fox had the opportunity to interact with several actors and actresses he had long admired from his youth. They expressed their admiration for his work and extended their congratulations. However, the primary reason the media boss brought Fox to the party was for him to meet one particular individual, Sidney Poitier. Standing in a tuxedo in the corner was Sidney Poitier, Fox said. "I walked up to him and he said, 'I watched your performance and I grew 2 inches. I leave you with one thing, responsibility.'" Following his introduction to Sidney Poitier, Jamie Foxx's career took a significant upswing, with numerous major awards and increasing success. However, as he appeared to have a change of heart, he found himself embroiled in a misconduct investigation. And even after surviving that, he ended up in the hospital. This highlights that even individuals of Fox's stature aren't immune to the influence of powerful figures within the industry.
Every time there's success, you have to be prepared for the darkness, because you can't have sunshine without darkness. So it's always this balance.
The industry elites have also potentially attempted to ruin the careers of other actors who sought to distance themselves from their control, including Cuba Gooding. Cuba Gooding's story is somewhat different from the typical narrative surrounding famous personalities. The Hollywood power players not only derailed his popularity, but also disrupted his life beyond the glamorous world of entertainment. However, it's important to note that Gooding also played a role in his own downfall.
And then, it's one of those moments in my life where I was trying to numb the pain. So I would, just kind of...
During the late 1990s and early 2000s, Cuba Gooding enjoyed significant success in Hollywood, garnering attention for his roles in TV shows like Hill Street Blues and MacGyver. He reached new heights with his performance in John Singleton's acclaimed film Boys in the Hood.
I'm so mad at this stupid mother.
Cuba Gooding Jr. won an Oscar in 1997 for his work in Jerry Maguire, but almost 2 decades later, the Academy Awards have failed to make much progress. Following the widespread disappointment of this year's Oscar nominees, which did not recognize a single actor of color, Variety asked Gooding Jr. his opinion on the #Oscars So White backlash. "You want it to be diverse. You want the work to show," Gooding Jr. told Variety and other reporters this weekend at the Television Critics Association press tour in Pasadena, Calif. "I wanted Straight Outta Compton to get something, but, it's this conversation that makes people think harder when the nominations come around for next year." Anyways, the troubles for Cuba Gooding Jr. began in June 2019 when USA Today reported an investigation into an incident where he was accused of touching a woman inappropriately at a New York City bar while he was intoxicated. Subsequently, Gooding voluntarily went to the police and was arrested.
When a woman alleges Gooding touched her inappropriately at a different nightclub, and another incident where he allegedly grabbed a woman's at this bar in June.
This proved to be a turning point in his career. It seems like there's a scandal brewing every time a black artist hits the headlines. From jaw-dropping accusations to being unfairly snubbed at award shows, it feels like there's a constant drama playing out behind the scenes. The latest buzz? It's almost as if these artists are cursed, struggling with shady allegations, receiving peanuts compared to their peers, or missing out on those coveted Oscars, while the world watches with bated breath. A chart-topping star drops a new hit, and suddenly they're hit with accusations that have fans and critics whispering about scandalous secrets and hidden agendas. But wait, there's more! Despite their groundbreaking work and massive influence, they're somehow left out of award ceremonies, while their non-black counterparts snag the trophies. And here's the kicker. Many of these artists seem to face a tragic end far too soon. The narrative often feels like a scripted drama, where every success is met with a shadowy scandal or financial struggle, almost as if there's a hidden agenda at play. The world of entertainment seems to have a suspiciously long list of black artists who face more than their fair share of turmoil, and it's fueling whispers of a larger, more insidious conspiracy. And it seems like Chadwick was also the target of this agenda. That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.